So I had come to some realizations about myself and why I really was doing this. And I was going to make a video about it as I was walking home about an hour and a half ago. Can't remember what my realizations were. It's something to do with, I thought, like when I first hurried up and put on the webcam, which I didn't know how to use yet, I decided to live stream the insurrection, watching the insurrection happen on TV, because I thought it was the end of the world. But then, yeah, on the way home I was thinking about it. I figured out why I was really, oh, now I remember. Okay, I'm hearing a bunker come up the street. I remember what it is, but I'll come back. Okay, now it's not coming up the street. Anyway, I realized that, you know, at the time I was thinking about censorship, about the way the world was going, how we were continuing to be locked down, how the election had gone one way, which was more towards not being as free as we were before, not having as much free speech as we did before. And I was thinking about how I am and how I've always been, but how people always think that I'm different than I am. I think a lot of people, because I was with my mom all the time, and people didn't really talk to me that much. I don't know why. I've always been, if somebody starts talking to me, I'll just talk. You know, I've always been like that. So the idea that people don't know me or didn't get to know me or don't understand, it has always boggled my mind. But especially over the last year and everything, you know, especially with depending on where you live. Like I said, I live in a very blue place. I live in Massachusetts. People will start talking to you like they already know what your opinions are. They start talking, or they talk to you in that way to try to see what your opinions are. Like everybody was looking for like Trump voters to murder or something. So they would talk to you about how much he sucks. Just start talking to you about what a piece of crap he is to see if you agree or if you say something. And what I have been doing for years living in this place is I just let people think their thoughts. I let them have their religious ideas. I don't sit there and argue with people or say, oh no, here's why you're wrong. You know what I mean? If I disagree with somebody, you know, I tend to just be like, you know, I try to just, you know, I don't sit there and start an argument, or if somebody, you know, because I realized I haven't fit here in a long time. Like I said, I was a liberal. I considered myself a liberal. I started realizing I wasn't a liberal from talking about movies on the internet. Because the people who called themselves liberal were the first people, and this was years ago, the first people starting to tell you what to think and how to think it. And if you didn't like 12 Years a Slave, that meant you were racist, not that you just liked another movie better. And I'm funny because I'm going over everything, trying to figure out myself and understand myself again to see if I can figure out who I'm supposed to be going forward. So I decided to because when you don't have life, like you're not getting married and divorced, you're not having kids or stuff like that with dates on it, or graduations and, you know, things like that, it's hard to know which year was which. So for me, because I was paying attention to movies so much, and there are certain events that I know happened right before life events for me that are something I can look up, like the time I got very sick and almost died. I realized it was right after Robin Williams died. And I know it was, I went to the emergency room the day after the primetime Emmys that year. This is how I have to remember that stuff. Because, again, they never even let me look at my medical record. That's a whole nother story. But, yeah, so I was looking, and 12 Years a Slave, that's when I first realized people starting to get weird with their stuff like that. I just looked up what year that won Best Picture, and that was 2014. So that 2014 was a big year for me. That was the time, like I said, when I got sick and almost died after Robin Williams killed himself. And that was, I remember, I was so disgusted with the world already. And it was a time when, remember those bad guys were chopping people's heads off and stuff. My life was crap. I knew it was crap. I was done. So the thing that bothers me today, some reason why I get the way I do, is because if I suffer now, I know that I had the opportunity to leave. I almost died, you know. And the thing is, at the time before that happened, I was ready to go. I was done with the world. I didn't have friends. My situation was nowhere near as bad as it is right now. But you know, so it was, I was ready to go. So if anybody, even when I was in the hospital, they're like, you almost died, and they're waiting for me to go, oh, thank you so much for saving my life. I was like, oh. You know what I mean? And then there was just more horrible road to go down. And but that's how I end up having to look up and find where was I at this point, what was I thinking, and I look at what won Best Picture, and I'm looking at, and it was around that time things started to get ridiculous and become about bullshit and about things that didn't matter, you know. So how am I relating this to what I'm saying about me? I don't know, give me a minute because I lost my train of thought. Okay, so what I guess I'm trying to say is from me constantly changing. Again, I'm a mutable sign, I'm Sagittarius. Other people are fixed signs, they stay the same their whole lives. I don't even know what cardinal signs do, but you know what I mean. When things happen, I evaluate them, I take them as part, I try to absorb them and use it to evolve and grow, you know what I mean. And it changes me from who I was before. Does it change my general personality? No, I have the same general personality that I did as a kid, but I get older or wiser, or we all should. And you know, so my thoughts about the world and my place in it, or should I even have a place in it, or do I belong here, that evolves over time. And I can hear water dripping and so before that happened to me, so that's like a monolith in my life, that event of me getting sick and everything, and then the subsequent year having to end up having, you know, the following, that was in September, well, August to September, and then the following year in June I end up having to have the hysterectomy. So there's that strange space between those two events, and then everything before and everything after, right? So what I realized over time is that I was changing in terms of what side I was on. Not that I'm on a side, but like I said, the people who were considering themselves liberals were starting to be a way that I wasn't. I saw myself as an independent for a very long time. But again, if you took all the issues and you asked me one by one, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? My issues would probably be all over the place. But because of that, at first it was still okay to be an individual, be an independent thinker. As time has gone on and people have separated themselves into factions, it makes it more difficult, because now if you just have views all over the place, or if you want to sit there and have a discussion, you don't want to just, you know, toe a party line, it makes you more and more and more out of place. And like I said, in a place like this, where I live, the assumption is that you would be blue. More like the old-fashioned version of what Democrats are, because a lot of people who were Democrats 30, 40 years ago still are the same way, but they don't realize the party changed away from them. They just know that they still remember that, you know, the Republicans are the bad guys, so they vote for the blue guys because they're technically the good guys. Even if they think about it or not, they still know, well, you know what I mean? So they figure that if you live here and you're not evil, you agree with that, and you agree with that side, and you think all those things. And I started to realize over time that people didn't know me at all, for no good reason, because up until I got sick, I used to go to a lot of public meetings, and I would stand up, and I used to call into talk radio and say my real name. So I was always broadcasting who I am and my situation, because like I said, it was important to me to not lie. So I didn't want to walk around looking like something or seeming like something, and that somehow be interpreted wrong, but people still don't know who the hell you are. But I would show up all the time. So as things got really weird in the last 5 years, like I said, about politics and stuff, and I liked President Trump, and I liked, you know, freedom of thought, and that was the most important thing to me, especially leading up to the last election. I felt more and more that it was like, with people, like I said, trying to suss out if you're one of the evil people, you know, that they deemed everybody who voted for Trump was. I started to feel like just by standing there and not wearing a MAGA hat that I was somehow hiding. And I wasn't. So I always tweeted what I thought, and you know, but I don't talk to people anymore. I mean, not on purpose. It's just when things happen a certain way, my life went a certain way, I did get more and more isolated, but not on purpose. I just didn't have money to go anywhere, do anything. And, you know, it was me and my mom. And my mom, obviously, she was older. She was that type to just be a Democrat. But, you know, in the beginning, she didn't disagree with me that much until everybody started saying horrible things about him, starting with the Access Hollywood tapes. But before that, she didn't think he was a bad guy. But she started to go along with it. And then she would go to work and she would come home. And I thought she was going to turn me into the, you know, and it's like we agreed all along. We agreed on the issues all along. I didn't change on my issues. But now somehow having my issues and like, you know, so I was like, I felt like now I had to, not that I wanted to be in hiding or stuff like, but just by not declaring constantly who I was so I could get murdered, that I was somehow hiding or pretending or being, and I wasn't. I was just being me going around. But you know, so when January came around, and I had always been saying what I thought on Twitter and stuff like that, because like I said, I don't want to be a hidey person. I would say things in comments and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? If they're going to come and get me and put me in the gulag, it's going to be for what I actually say. It's going to be for what I actually think. And you know what? Nobody else is saying anything. Nobody else is saying what they really think. I want to put, you know, I didn't want to put my face out there because I don't like my face. I know I don't look nice. Okay? So originally when I tried to do a channel, I was going to do whatever things I thought. I was going to try to philosophize. That's why I had the other piece of the channel where I would just talk over cards. You know what I mean? And just do the audio part and just put like up, you know, like cards or something saying that, you know, yeah, like the people who did just audio, no video, but it's just like a screen or whatever. So I tried to figure out how to do that for a long time. But then when that happened, I said, forget it. The world's ending. Who cares if, you know, people hunt me down and kill me? They might as well, because I'm not going to, you know, hide what I think. And what I think is valid. And it's just as valid as anybody else's opinion. And I know I don't just repeat what I've heard. I know I come up with thoughts on my own. And I might as well put them out there in this world that people are just being phonies in. And I don't know how I started realizing this when I'm walking home from the laundry just now, which I finally had $3 to do laundry. I have been doing laundry, drip drying everything, which when it's humid and you try to hang up soaking wet clothes in the house, they will not dry. So but even I had to debate whether I should do that. Anyway, the point is, whether I should splurge on the $3 to do laundry. But, so, yeah. Again, I'm stumped. Why am I saying this? Why am I thinking this? Because I'm trying to realize who I am. I keep doing who I am, why I am, what I think. You know, but why am I doing this channel? Why am I putting these things? And I just, my initial thought right after that, and when I kept making the videos, well, I didn't feel like I was hearing what I think. People may be thinking it and not saying it. People may be thinking a couple of things I think and then disagreeing with me totally. You know, but I want the right to be an individual. I want the right to have opinions that are all over the map. And I was afraid that that was going away. And if they were going to take that away from me, I wanted to go down swinging. I wanted to be like, yeah, that's exactly what I said. Yeah, I voted for Trump twice, and I'd do it again. And you know what? I liked him since forever. And I always thought the things I think. And none of them are racist, none of them are bad. And I don't hate anybody. I mean, I hate like 2 or 3 people who ruined my life, but that's because of personal situations with people. But I don't hate any groups. And I want everybody to be happy, you know. And I want a peaceful world, and I want everybody to be taken care of. I don't want anybody to suffer and struggle and go through a hard time. That's why, like I said, my views, you know, there are socialist things I like, but also I believe in laws, you know, or the laws that should be followed, the ones that protect people, you know. But sometimes, especially with the year I've been through, I'm like, if I had money and abilities, if I was younger and I was healthy and, you know, I could live in the freaking forest, I might be an anarchist, because I don't think our justice system is worth a damn. I don't think the laws that we have at this point, when you actually have to go through the system, I don't think they work for anybody but the bad guys, the people who would manipulate them. And that comes from the lawyers. And I, like I said years ago, I did not like George W. Bush. I thought he was an idiot. But there's a couple times where he said something, and years later, I'm like, he was right. One day, like I said, he got up at some conference or something, and somebody asked him, you know, if you could say what the one thing that was wrong with this world is, what would you say? And he said, lawyers. You know, in typical George W. Bush fashion. And he said it at the time, and I looked over at the TV, and I was like, yeah, I think he's right. And the shit I've gone through, and I've kept that in my mind. I thought it at the time, I agreed at the time, but as I've thought about everything and all the things that happened in this world, I was like, that man was so right in one word. He's not as stupid as he was supposed to be. Could be a 12th house sun thing. I have that as well. But, you know, so my whole purpose for doing this was to think my thoughts, get them out there before I couldn't say them anymore. And if they came to get me for the gulag, it'll be because of what I really thought and what I really said. It won't be somebody thought a thing about me or somebody thinks I'm this or that, you know. So that's why. But over time, it's like, there was a point over a month ago, more than a month ago, where I was like, I think I said everything already. You know, I should shut up now. But I can't stop now. I don't know if I just feel like I need to say something when I see something that's stupid, or like I need to give my opinion now. Maybe because I don't feel like, you know, over the years in the internet, from the beginning of it, you know, when I go to, like, say I go to a YouTube video and I watch, let's say I watch a reaction video. I don't just want to watch the reaction. I also want to see the comments. I enjoy comment sections, reading what people, getting people's opinions. I like hearing other people's opinions. I really do. So I go in the comment section, and that's important for me. I remember years ago, I would go, whenever I read an article, I would read the comment section, and whatever it was about, sometimes there was better information in the comment section than in the article. So over the years of being on the internet, I used to go, I love reading the comment sections. Then they started closing them down. And that scared me, because it was like, that they just want to put out this propaganda. They don't want anybody to say it's BS. When they started closing down comment sections on some of the bigger publications and or bigger websites or whatever. I want to hear other people's opinions. I don't want to just sit there and go, oh, make proclamations. I mean, I know I did my lists and the kind of movies I want to see, but that's my opinion. You know, I would never give my opinion as fact. And I don't even when I know something, I was there, I witnessed it with my eyes, I will always say I'm 99.9% sure. Because I'm not arrogant enough. And maybe it's what other people call self-confident. I'm not arrogant enough to think that I'm that right, ever, about anything. So I miss the days of people being like that. And if I'm saying I miss the days of people being like me, well, maybe I'm a narcissist. But I miss the days of people sharing opinions and having to get to know people instead of just assuming things about them because you found out what group they belong to. Um, but yeah, so that's why I started doing this. Why I keep doing it? Like I said, the days going on, I never got good at reactions. I never had the setup to do it the way that when I now see some of these people's setups, I'm like, you go through all that and your videos are still that crappy? Because some of them, they're nice and well done, but some of these people have these setups that cost like a lot of money and there's parts all over the place, and I'm like, really? Okay. But I never had the money to do that anyway. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'd ever put in that much effort trying to be perfect and get it right. I'm much more, like I said, it turned into the dude a while back. I'm much more laid back, probably to my detriment now, but that's, old age wears you down. So I don't know. I feel like I need to end something. I feel like I need to stop. I don't. I'm getting sick of hearing myself. I'm starting to feel like, Tobias, you blow hard. I don't know. I mean, I feel like a failure at life most days. I am, in fact, but I don't know. The more I have to think about my own life, the worse it is. So, and I really don't get anything done when I try to do things practically. I have managed to make it through this by just going day by day, hanging on. I know I can't do that forever, and I worry about it, but movies are starting to come out that I would have seen, that I would have been looking forward to, with people I really like in it, and I'm not seeing them, and I'm not going to be able to see them. And a few months ago I was convinced movies weren't coming back, and now it's like, if everybody's really going back to the old way, it's like I can't even do that anymore. My brain shifted into trying to prepare for a new world that's now not coming. Whether it was in the gulag or whatever, it was going to be different. And now it's like, we have to try to shove. This lady got the nicest blouse on this Stanley Cup final. Stanley Cup final? Is that what's on? Holy shit. Okay, yeah, no. I really haven't been paying attention to that kind of stuff. But if I don't know why I'm doing this anymore. I was trying to figure it out. I'm sitting here, I'm trying to figure myself out. I'm seeing things come together for other people. I'm seeing the famous people world benefits back together. You know what I mean? Like I said, Bill Cosby got out of jail. Then there's the other people. There's the girl with the thing. Everything. Things are working themselves out for other people. Where a few months ago, their lives were completely different, or just suddenly, boom, everything's better for them, and I'm just still sitting here, and time's just gone by, and I literally looked in the thing, and I was like, am I like 20 pounds fatter than I was yesterday? I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, I was writing down, I've been looking at this manifesting stuff. I'm starting to think I can only manifest things for other people. And I'm like, if that's the case, if we can only manifest things for other people, then I'm screwed, because nobody ever wanted anything good for me. I put people off, or I'm a horrible piece of shit person, narcissist, whatever. But if that's how it works, and anybody who I favor or I like, and I can manifest nice things for them, but because nobody likes me, I don't know. That's what I was thinking. So I'm sitting here trying to figure myself out, figure out why, again, trying to figure myself out. And I was just saying, why am I doing this? And I was walking home from the laundromat, and I'm like, yeah, it was because you want to go down for who you are, not what they say or what somebody else says, because nobody knows. And I come from a gossipy place. I'm not saying people talk about me, But, you know, when you're a pedestrian, everybody else is driving around in cars. There was this one guy one time told me and my mom, oh, I see you guys walking all over the place. And it's like, what? You know what I mean? Because we walked. And people would pay attention to where we're going. And because they have nothing else to do. And I was like, are you serious? You don't even think of it because you don't see them because they're in the car. You know what I mean? So you don't come across these people when you're walking. And this was a guy who worked at the mall, and he told me that one day. I'm like, are you serious? You know? So it's I wanted to write my own story, good or bad. I mean, I put all my guts out there. If anybody wants to know who I am, it's all there. You want to, like I said, send me to the gulag. You want to arrest me. You want to call me all the horrible things. Here's all your proof. You know what I mean? Yesterday they were showing some clips of Quentin Tarantino on talking about, you know, the Bruce Lee thing, and you know, Quentin Tarantino has been one shining light all these years, like a real manly man, in that he doesn't take shit from anybody. He says exactly what he thinks. He doesn't try to, you know. And I was just like, why don't I know any people like that in real life? That's my kind of person. That's the kind of people I want to be. I've never known. Apart from me, I don't know anybody who says whatever they want to say and doesn't put up with shit. It worked for him. It didn't work for me. And I know why all the people that around me, because it doesn't work. If you're like this in normal life, you have to be brilliant. I'm not brilliant. That's why he's okay and I'm not. You have to be brilliant in order to have the kind of personality that says whatever you want and stuff like that. Otherwise, you gotta take shit and like it in order to get by, and I just can't. I was never wired that way. I needed to be born rich or be brilliant, which I wasn't. So this is why I've said the things I said. This is why I've been doing this. But I feel a real need to stop. Not stop doing this, either just be somebody else or end. You know, because this is who I've never been, a different personality. I've changed, not my views, but I've changed my views. I've thought things differently. I've reconsidered. I've changed my attitude sometimes. But I do think it's what people will call wisdom. Not that I'm smarter than anybody else. Just once you get a certain age, your accumulated knowledge and experience has to lead to wisdom. So I consider how my opinion is now compared to how it was when I was 22 wisdom. It's not getting old and crotchety. Or maybe it is. But I know when I'm right. I know when I'm wrong. I know when I'm not sure. And I try to say all those things all the time. But now, you know, this is 6 months since that fateful day, and all that's happened is a lot of nothing. I feel like I fell in quicksand, but just never completely sank. So I'm just like floating in quicksand. And it gets gradually, I don't know. I get gradually more and more stuck. But I don't know how to, I mean, I don't, yeah. What is it? I thought things were going to be so different by now. I thought the world was going to have cataclysms or something, or the virus, or, you know, the gulag or something. And I'm sad that I didn't get sent to the gulag by now, actually. Because now I'm just dangling off the side. And where's my gulag? You know, so, but like I said, just, it seems like I'm watching these things happen in the media to very famous people, and their lives are just, things are working out, and, you know, they were totally, and I'm just like, is it only rich people that ever have real events, or is that my problem? Have I always been coming from a rich person's perspective, even though I'm poor as hell and always have been? Do I just not get how to be regular? I don't know. I just looked down and it says 30 minutes. Honestly, I thought it was 15 because the last time I looked down it was 12. I don't know how I just talked for the last 10 minutes. So I'm going to put this up without the audio. Again, this is another one of those where I don't expect anybody to listen to it. But again, this is my rap sheet. This is the evidence. This is who I am. If they should still want to come get me for the gulag, I'm ready to go. Like I said, I was ready to go back in 2014. That second chance wasn't a second wind. I thought it would be. But that's why when I get upset and stuff like that, because I look back to that time and I think, man, I didn't have to go through all the stuff I've been through since 2014. I had an opportunity to leave this planet and I screwed that up. So that's why, like, I'm really sort of butthurt and slightly pissed about everything that's happened for the last, I could say 7 years. It's almost 7 years. Because all that, it's instead of saying like something is gravy or it's a cherry on top, it's whatever makes shit even worse. You know, it's, I don't know. It's like I didn't have to go through all this. I could have died then. Without being depressed, without killing myself, without having to suffer. I could have just gone. And that's why I get angry. That's why I'm like, that's why I go, why all the time. Because I didn't like doing that. I didn't like it. And before that happened, like I said, I was thinking everything was practical. I was trying to not think cosmic thoughts or what they call it, magical thinking. I wasn't thinking, you know, God wanted this and that. But like I said, all that stuff that happened to me could not have been a concerted effort by a lot of people, so it had to be what was supposed to happen. And I've been thinking that way ever since, and it's not a nice feeling to think that your whole life sucked because it was supposed to happen that way. You really look for the places to find out why it was your fault. And like I said, as the days go on, I keep hoping for something, but I'm just getting older and tireder. I'm so much older and tireder than I was when these lockdowns and all this crap began. And I just don't know what I'm doing. And like I said, I was starting this channel to just say my piece before they came for me. And now it's just like, I'm sick of myself. I don't know why I'm doing it. That's why I figured out when I was walking, I was like, that's why you started doing it. But why are you still doing it? Because I'm not going to see any movies. So reacting to trailers is stupid. I mean, doing social commentary, I can do that as long as I'm here. I can, you know, see, okay, well, here's this new story. Let me comment on that. But what good does that do? It doesn't do any good. So I feel the need to do something or be different or just stop. But I won't. I won't, because I'll forget and I'll just go back to being an idiot. I'll see a news story or I'll see something and I'll be like, let me say my shit now, like it matters. In the beginning I had a reason. Now I'm just like, I just keep doing it like it's the habit now. But like I said, other people's lives, they're just springing back, they're snapping back, their lives are coming back together. Look at all those people watching the hockey. I thought the world was going to be so different. So yeah, I may be wise about how to behave and stuff like that, but I'm pretty damn stupid on how to do real life. I always have been.